Arkansas's SEC record doesn't look great, but their quarterback is one of the best in the country. How worried should Auburn fans be about Arkansas and Taylen Green? Welcome on into the Auburn Express, powered by the War Report. I'm your host, Mike G. Turn us up, turn us on, we'll turn it out. I'm here with my good friend Kyle Rush from the barn to talk a little Auburn football. It's Arkansas week. We are 7 games into this thing, Kyle. Auburn is 0-4.
We're done.
SEC play. Not a lot of goals left in front of Auburn and Hugh Freeze, other than hitting that what we thought was the floor for this season, which was 8-4. That's still attainable. They have to win out. At the press conference after the game, Hugh Freeze said that the goal from this point in, I'm not sure that it wasn't the goal before, but you know, it's always your goal to win out, right? But now, with only 5 games left, it is definitely the goal of Hugh Freeze to win out if he wants to remain the Auburn coach. Kyle, at least since the year 2000, probably going back further, no Auburn coach has lost 5 games in a row and been the coach at the end of the next season. So Brian Harsin famously lost his last 4 games of the season in his first season, plus the bowl game. That was 5. He was fired halfway through his second year. Auburn had a 5-game losing streak in that season. He wasn't responsible for all 5 of those losses, as he was dismissed as Auburn's head coach. Hugh Freeze is running out of time and excuses and everything else. And I got to imagine that right now, John Cohen has been eerily quiet.
Yep. It's kind of wild. Hugh said they haven't spoken since Saturday.
I haven't seen him at a post-game press conference or a weekly press conference in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So I think that's telling. I think that means that there are conversations happening behind the scenes here. If you're Hugh Freeze, regardless, you just got to go out and try to win football games here. That starts on Saturday with Arkansas. You know, talk to me about the formidable challenge that is Arkansas. Look, man, they haven't won an SEC game themselves, but they lead the league in yards per game. Their offense is absolutely dangerous, and Auburn should be worried on Saturday.
Yeah, and you know, obviously they have one of the worst defenses in the conference, and if not like one of the worst defenses in the country. But the problem is not so much the defense as it is our offense. Like it's that to me is what's scary about this game, because if you just have 3 or 4 hiccups, like 3 or 4 drives that don't go well, you could lose the ball game. Because although I think our defense is phenomenal, I think they're spectacular, this offense is different than I think anyone we've faced so far. And then Petrino's he's got a new fire lit under him, and he's auditioning for the job, I would imagine, to get the head job, if that's even a possibility. Again, it's just not so much that I'm necessarily worried about their offense so much as I don't know that we can score with them. You know what I mean? Because we don't show a very high tendency to be an efficient scoring machine. 1 sack, 1 holding call, 1 dropped pass on first down, and it feels like that drive could be shot. And then you just give the ball right back to them to go do something. And they're going to have those, they're going to have those demoralizing quarterback scrambles for a first down on like 3rd and 8 too, because Taylen Green's a beast. It's scary. I'm not going to lie. If you're Hugh, you're mega nervous about this game.
Yeah. Look, I mean, it's crazy because we don't really have a reason to be nervous about the defense. They've done the job every single week. I don't think there's been a single week this year that I felt like the defense didn't do enough for Auburn more than enough for Auburn to win the game. Kyle, we're 7 games into the season. They have not given up more than 24 points to any offense, and they faced 4 top 16 teams straight and Baylor.
Right.
I have a feeling it's not going to be a different story. I saw that. Was it you that posted something? I think it was you that posted something that showed it was a graphic on Twitter that showed what Auburn's opponents have averaged and what they did versus
It was
Auburn.
from the barn. I think it was from,
okay.
Yeah, for sure. It was
Great
our
graphic,
barn
by the
Twitter
way.
account. Yeah. Averaging, I think you're holding every single opponent you face in the SEC, you've held them to less points than their season average. And I think far less. Yeah, Missouri was averaging like 31 points a game, and you held them to 17 basically in regulation.
Yeah.
So they've done their job. And again, I'm not thinking like Arkansas is going to go out and score like 40, but what if they score 28? That would be under their average. Can Auburn score 29? I don't know. That's the hard part right now.
Yeah. I think that is the hard part. Look, Taylen Green is obviously a very, very good quarterback. A lot of people thought he would be one of the better quarterbacks in the SEC coming in here. Look, man, Bobby Petrino and quarterbacks, like if he's done well with anything, he's done well with quarterbacks. Hell, he had Jason Campbell at Auburn way back in the early 2000s. I worked under him on that staff. I filmed a lot of his practices. He's fiery. I think he's a douchebag, but I think he's really good with quarterbacks. Look, they've got to find a way to slow Arkansas down enough for the offense to be able to catch up. So let's talk about the other side of the ball here. At today's press conference, if you're watching this, it's Tuesday, but every Monday there's a press conference. Hugh Freeze was asked a question about Ashton Daniels and whether there was a plan to redshirt him, and asked if that was still on the table. He said, no, that's off the table. We're going to do whatever it takes to win. But then subsequently asked a question about whether the intent is for Jackson Arnold to start. He said, yes, the intent is for Jackson Arnold to start, which sounds like we're going to start Jackson. And if for some reason it's not going, we may turn to Ashton for a spark here. What do you think about playing Ashton Daniels at this point in the season?
Well, you only have 5 games left. He has not played a single game, and I think you or I should be able to be the quarterback against Mercer and win that game. So you could play him the last 4 games, not counting Mercer, and I don't know, play Deuce or even Jackson in that game and be fine, and you don't have to burn the red shirt. So I think you're kind of in that magical territory where it can be if Jackson starts off rough, you can justify pulling the trigger. I think it was weird the last 2 games because especially the first half against Georgia, you're just ripping and roaring up and down the field. And then Missouri, you start off the game, you walk down the field and score. So it's like, even if there was a short leash, could you justify pulling him after the way it started? In the second drive against Missouri, he throws one of his very few just deep balls on the money and you drop it. So does that justify being able to pull him? It was just a really weird exchange there to start both of those games. And it's like, is it really time to pull him? I don't know. It makes it kind of tough. So if he were to come out sloppy, I could easily see it being the case. And there's no fear of wasting this year of eligibility now. You can do it pretty much fearlessly now.
Right. Well, you got 5 games left, right? So we haven't seen him yet.
No. So he could play every game except Mercer and be fine. So he could play the last 4 conference games.
Yeah. I think that if you need a spot, I asked you this question at one of the press conferences. Like, I pressed him because there was another reporter that asked him a question about, personnel change, and he kind of gave a non-answer. And I said, if you're close, I don't think that Jackson Arnold is playing so well that if it's close, you maybe don't try another quarterback to see that if in those critical moments they can pull something off for you. I don't think that I want to stress this because someone's going to go back and say, "Oh, Mike G, Jackson Arnold, blah blah blah." I don't think Jackson Arnold is the problem with this offense, but I also don't think that he's the answer for this coach.
Why can't they both be true?
Right, right, yeah.
I think there's a heavy burden on the quarterback, and I think there's a heavy burden on the coaches. I think I've seen some things out of Jackson that I don't think there's not very many coaches I think that can win with. Just being honest. I mean, look at the way the last 10 drives you've had at the end of games in these conference games. You've scored one time, and you've had 34 plays, I believe, for 24 yards total in the previous or the rest of those 9 drives with a chance to tie or win the game. Like, it's just when it's crunch time, you don't have anybody you can go to trust that you feel confident can go take you down the field and win the game. That doesn't mean that I remove the burden from Hugh Freeze. Like, hey, identifying a quarterback is like pretty important. Like, that gets you fired. That gets NFL guys fired all the time. If you miss on a bunch of quarterbacks, that'll cost you your job. And I just think it's been atrocious as far as picking out quarterbacks. Like, you just been really, really bad at it.
Yeah. Look, I've said this before. I'll say it again. If you need Cam Newton, go out and recruit Cam Newton.
Yeah.
But don't recruit a quarterback. That's a project. If he needs work like in a year where you absolutely had to win.
I wouldn't say this. I would not say this. I mean, your boy said it. Your Oklahoma buddy said it from Locked On. Like, all those guys, like, everybody said the same. Like, it wasn't like they made stuff up. Like, they told you exactly. They told us exactly what the issues were with Jackson, and then those exact same things played out here. They played out in this fall, and we tried to convince ourselves it didn't happen. And then it's played out in the season the exact same way. It's just
I would say this though, right? Like, they also fired their offensive coordinator mid-season.
They did. So it was a bad situation, without a doubt.
Here, I just think that if he is, there was an idea that the pieces around Jackson at Auburn, not just the receivers and the O-line, but also the coaching, would put him in a better position to succeed. And he just hasn't gotten that, I think, since he's been in college. So while, yes, maybe they were right in a sense, like, Jackson Arnold just isn't your savior at quarterback, right?
He's not. Yeah,
he's a guy who can play quarterback. And if you get enough of the things right around him and you put him in a position where he doesn't have to save you at the end of the games, I still think you can win with Jackson Arnold. I'm just not sure this coaching staff knows what that looks like. And, John Cohen's absence around press conferences and around the program recently, I think, personally, reflect the fact that he doesn't know whether or not this coaching staff is the answer for this talent. Look, we got to get to our second half here, Kyle, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the future of Auburn under Hugh Freeze, or maybe an interim head coach here in a couple of weeks. But I do want to close saying this. I don't think there's a result short of winning out that sees Hugh Freeze survive this season.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, like 4 straight SEC losses. I mean, you lost almost every single game that mattered to start your SEC schedule. And, no matter who the opponent is, you're finding different ways to lose games. I said this 2 years ago, and it stands today. I said that I said 2 things about this coach. I said he had a messaging problem, and I said that I don't like how much they're blaming the talent for what seems like systemic issues to me, right? And that was all about the floor. And he talked about recruiting after losses, and we got to close. And everyone bought that. And I said, no, there's something deeper going on here, and you got a team to coach now. So you can't, like, I would listen to him talk and think, I don't know how any of these players believe that their coach thinks that they can win the way he talks about recruiting after losses. Now you can't do that anymore. And here we are having the same conversations in year 3 about it. But the talent, blaming the talent is off the table here. So there's nowhere to look but where I thought we should have been looking the whole time. Let's get to our second half here. And we're going to talk about we'll continue this conversation, talking about the future, potentially, of Hugh Freeze at Auburn, right after a quick words from our sponsors, our friends at Abel's Iron More and Associates. So that's AMA. They're here for all your financial needs. maybe you're just starting out your career. It might feel like investing is something you'll think about later, but the truth is, the earlier you start, the more time your money has to grow. AIMA helps young professionals build disciplined portfolios from day one. They'll help you understand how to invest strategically, avoid common pitfalls, and create a foundation for long-term financial growth. No minimum account required, no sales pitch, no gimmicks, just clear guidance from a team with over 20 years of experience helping clients across the country. Call AIMA at 912-777-4128 or visit AIMAINC.com to get started on a path toward financial security and freedom. The War Report has been compensated by Abels I Know More and Associates for this endorsement. Abels I Know More and Associates is a registered investment advisor. Registration as an investment advisor does not imply a certain level of skill or training. The information in this advertisement is for informational purposes only and should not be considered personalized investment advice. All investing involves risk, including potential loss of principal, and past performance is not indicative of future results. Also, want to thank our friends at the Rogue Shop. Visit rogueshop.com. Use code REPORT to get 15% off your Rogue Shop order. Pain, sleep, stress, anxiety, whatever ails you in life, the Rogue Shop potentially has something that has you covered. If you've got some traditional ailments and you're looking for some non-traditional remedies, our guy Richard, longtime sponsor of the show, maybe has something for you. Maybe the thing that's got your health down in the gutter, Kyle, is the Auburn offense and the lack of touchdowns, whether that's what's ailing you or if it's just something more traditional. Again, visit rogueshop.com and put in code REPORT today to make sure you're getting 15% off your potential remedy. I want to thank our friends at Sky Tobacco and Vape. Ever run out of vape juice at 10 p.m. and think, well, guess I'm suffering? Nah, I'm with Sky Tobacco and Vape all around. These folks got more locations than a Waffle House. Columbus, Phoenix City, they're everywhere. Whether you're on the throughway, the bypass, or just lost with bad directions, Sky Tobacco and Vape is probably 10 feet away. They've got vapes, tobaccos, and deals so good you'll swear they misprinted the price tags. Sky Tobacco and Vape, good vibes, great deals, and zero judgment if you walk in wearing pajama pants. Also want to thank our friends at Golden's Cast Iron. Visit goldenscastiron.com/WR. Use code Get Your Weight Up for 15% off your weights and code TWR for $65 off fire pits and Kamado grills. Golden's Cast Iron. Work out, grill out, chill out with Golden's Cast Iron. Last but not least, I want to thank our friends at the Vibe Vault. You can find them at 3462 Crosswinds Road, Suite E in Phoenix City, Alabama. If you're in the Columbus, Phoenix City area, or even if you're in Auburn, Opelika, you don't mind a little drive and you're looking to get fresh for the weekend, visit the Vibe Vault. They're on Highway 431, right across the street from Chattahoochee Valley Community College, next to the Repro Supermarket and the Marco's Pizza. The Vibe Vault, not just barbers, lifestyle consultants. Woo! Kyle?
Boy, that was blazing.
We love all our sponsors. I love reading the sponsor reads. And Sky Tobacco and Vape one always trips me out. Let's talk about the future of this Auburn program. Every guest I have this week, we're going to talk about this, so I got to get your take as well too. It feels like they're organizing behind the scenes to move on.
Yeah,
and
I would agree.
The question is not if, but when.
Yeah,
they're going to pull the plug on this coach.
And it feels like Hugh knows it too. When he answered, one of his statements was, I hope to have the chance to fix it, or I want to have the chance to fix it, or something like that. Where, in other words, I don't know that I'm going to get the chance. Like, I hope I get the chance to fix this. That didn't seem to me like I was very confident about keeping my job. You know what I mean? Like, if I was confident that I was safe, I think I'd say something like, I'm going to fix it. And this is how I'm going to do it. And I know you haven't seen the results of it yet, but this is how we're going to fix it. Yeah. And just to say, I hope I get the chance. That doesn't feel very, I don't know. That doesn't feel like I'm very confident. And then the whole, haven't talked to John since Saturday. I would think with all the turmoil, like there would be at least some kind of conversation to say, hey, we're good for now, or just do what you got to do. Or, hey, I think, if Cam would have caught that ball, y'all could have won. Like whatever kind of conversations, like just to be dark for 48 hours now, 48 plus hours.
Yeah. John's not that kind of guy either.
He's not.
Right? But yeah.
He's in that building all the time. Like, he goes and works out, and then he's in there. He's in there in workout clothes sometimes after, like, for the press conference. Like, it's not like he just doesn't go in there. He's in there all the time.
we talked about this last week, but when actually no, I think it's this. Yeah, I think we talked about this last week. Uh, when Hugh called me to clarify his statements on Damari, Kyle, I don't know, man. Like I heard the voice of a man who sounded a little defeated and a little lost.
Yeah.
And for what it's worth, right? Like I'm not for or against Hugh Freeze. I'm definitely for Auburn, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's it's two guys who are part of the media, but we don't really hide our fandom.
Sure.
Like everybody here listening to this should know you're looking at the face of two men who are for Auburn,
100%,
and want to see Auburn succeed, which means wanting to see the head coach succeed, right? And wanting to see the kids succeed.
It hurts, man.
Yeah. So
it hurts to hear it.
Even if you weren't like a Hugh guy when he got hired, after he gets hired, that's it, man. All I want to see. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we all hope we're wrong. John Cohen has been relentless in his defense of Hugh Freeze since he's been on the Plains. Last year, I listened to him go on Feinbaum, on everywhere he could go. On one of those Feinbaum segments, I went on right after him. It was when we played Oklahoma, and Nathan King and I were waiting in the old athletic department team meeting room. And John went on and just talked about the number of players that Auburn turned over, and the fact that this was a rebuild and all these things that he said, give us time. But while you're asking for time, there's still a certain requisite of success you have to have along the way for him to continue to be able to argue that message to people. It certainly can't look like you're moving backwards, which in terms of record, they are. They're moving backwards, man, relative to the talent. These results are just not acceptable. I want to say this because I don't think that I've said this publicly, and I'm glad that I'm doing this segment with you when I say it for the first time.
Yeah.
I think Hugh Freeze is done, man. I don't think that there's a way back from 0-4 in the SEC losing the way that they're losing. I don't think there's a way back from sticking with Jackson Arnold for as long as he has, and then when your job's on the line, your athletic director stops showing up. You're saying, "Oh, well, everything's on the table." Well, it should have been on the table after Texas A&M, as far as I'm concerned, going into Georgia.
The only way, and this is a scenario, I mean, this would be the only way scenario, in my opinion. The only way is if you go out there against Arkansas and Jackson has two poor drives and you pull him and you put Ashton in, and for whatever reason, that was the key. It was literally only the quarterback, and you could prove it that way. And then all of a sudden the offense clicks and you start being explosive, and maybe you put up a bunch of points over the next 5 games and win out. And then you could say, look, I've been trying to tell y'all, it's not we just have missed on quarterbacks. And that to me is still fireable. If you miss on guys multiple times and you go backwards, that is still fireable. I think that is a long shot. That is the longest of long shots. But to me, that's the only way. That's the only way it works. Is if you do that and you're like, look, man, I've been trying to tell y'all, I've made some mistakes evaluating quarterbacks. Look, we got the right quarterback in, and it fixed everything. Again, the odds of that are probably pretty low, but I don't think they're impossible. Right. That's the only way that I could see that this thing working out. I think, there's a laundry list of items that you could point to, and even if it's only he missed on quarterbacks, that's still enough to get you fireable. I mean, that's still enough to get you fired.
Yeah. I want to make sure that we have this conversation before we end this segment, because we may not have you and I may not record again before there's a decision made.
Exactly.
Kyle, I think personally, that in terms of going out and getting the right guy for the job, based on the conversations that I've had with players, former and current, I would love to see DJ Durkin get an opportunity. to at least see if he could provide a spark.
I go back
while interim, right? So I don't know if you go to him. I'm not sitting here thinking, saying I know for sure DJ Durkin would be a great head coach at Auburn, but I think if you're going to move on quickly, and give Durkin a chance to see if he can be the guy to turn this thing around. And what a great audition, man, for the head coaching job, and taking guys you recruited and coached and showing, hey, all we needed was a little reorganization, man, and some ingenuity here, and look at the results.
Maybe that could happen. But here's another aspect, and this is why I don't know what the right direction to go is. It could very well be that Durkin's the interim. He changes a few things, get things organized a little bit better. You take Hugh away from play calling and you give it to Kent or Derek or whoever, and they just go with a really simplified offense, and you just play small ball, and you just figure out a way to attitude your way to 3 wins over the next 4 games or something like that. That would be phenomenal. But here's the problem. What if you think Durkin can be a really good candidate, but he can't overcome the offensive issues that we have in 4 games, and you go 1-3, or you go 2-2, or it doesn't really look like or that you've had much of an improvement, but you still think Durkin could be a guy. Like, there's going to be a section of the fan base that's going to have a terrible taste in their mouth if he goes out and gets waxed by Alabama, or he goes out and, gets waxed by Vanderbilt. Like, it's a tall task to ask him to just jump in there and save everything that's been mismanaged for 3 years.
So just to be clear, what you're saying is that if he got the chance, you feel like people shouldn't judge the results too harshly?
If he got the chance, I don't think you judge the results at all, good, positive or negative.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
Is what I'm saying. Like, even if he goes 3-1, don't get too high, and if he goes 1-3, don't. Well, I take that back. If he goes 3-1, get fired up and let's pop some bottles. You know what I'm saying?
He probably won the Iron Bowl, right? Yeah. All right.
But if he goes 1-3, I don't think you just say, well, you gave him a shot and he didn't get it done. I don't think that's fair. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that's fair at all. And I think he's a really good coach. And I'm with you, man. I think he could be a fantastic head coach. I think Auburn should do their due diligence, and John Cohen should do his due diligence and try to go get the best guy he can get. But if it falls down to DJ Durkin, I think you could match him with an elite play caller, and play callers love to come play under defensive head coaches because it's easier for them to get head coaching jobs. You could probably hire somebody really good, and then you can do the whole package deal. Maybe you pick somebody that's got a pretty good quarterback and bring them with him. See what would happen.
I would say this. I've been told by a few sources that I trust that Durkin's hire wasn't necessarily like it was highly influenced by outside people saying this is the guy you should go get. So I think that if that's true, there's a faction of people with influence that would really like to see this because they believed in him enough this offseason to make him the second highest paid coach, assistant coach in college football. Ohio State was coming, man. They wanted him.
Yep.
They wanted him bad, and Auburn had to break the bank to keep him. So he's obviously a guy that you already believe in to a large extent here. But on the football, the X's and O's side, what I've been told about the way that he runs his defensive practice, the way he runs his guys, the way he prepares for games, the meticulousness, the detail. I've said this. I mean, this is not me just pulling this out here. I've been consistently talking about this for the last 2 years. That would give me hope that maybe at the top, that could infect
trickle
the
down.
Rest of and then in those moments, man, where a critical play has to be called, everybody's on the same page because he is the guy that is paying attention to the details and maybe trusting his offensive staff to go out and do what they talked about here. Like, he's been a head coach before. So it wouldn't be, he's no stranger to the processes that it takes. And look, Maryland, before he got in trouble, Maryland was a good team under DJ Durkin. So
they were building.
Yeah, they were definitely building something. There's a reason this guy keeps getting hired everywhere he goes.
Yeah, so, and like little things like this, Mike. Like, I know you've been to practice. There's little things like this. I'm just like that. I guarantee this makes a big difference when they stretch. When the defenses stretch, they all stretch together. Every one of them. It's one big unit. And then you look over at offense, and like wide receivers and quarterbacks are off in one spot. Offensive line stretching separate off in another spot. And then running backs and tight ends are in another spot. And like which side of the ball performs as a unit better than the other. Like that may mean nothing, but it's something that's noticeable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just little things like that.
I'll end. I'm going to get you out of here. I'll end saying this, Kyle. The way what it's been described, the way the dichotomy between the two, like you talked about, they said it's like two different football teams.
Yeah.
It described the players have described it to be like, hey, like if you are on defense, you are playing on a different football team than we're playing on offense. And I think that unfortunately that points back to Hugh and his process. I like John Cohen. I like John Cohen a lot. I think that he's very candid and honest when he is allowed to be share. But he's in a tough position here, man. To have to about face after the way that the particular way he supported this coach, I know is a hard pivot for him. That's probably tugging at his heart, man. Like, I think he still believes that Hugh Freeze is a good coach, but he's got, I said this in a tweet, like at some point though, he has to answer for the results.
No doubt.
To the people that he has to answer to as well, too, man. Look, if John believes in you, he'll defend you.
Yep.
Man, he'll go to bat for you, dude. He will put his neck on the line for you, but you have to give him something in return. And I fear that Hugh Freeze is going to be unable to give John what he needs to give him one more year, which would be essentially winning out.
Yeah.
And I mean, because look, if you're Auburn, I'm not sure you're waiting on optics or whatever. As far as I know, the gears have started moving behind the scenes already on what this looks like financially. Durkin would be the most financially financially viable.
Yeah, there you go.
Option in terms of finding a new head coach and not having to buy out the rest of your staff, essentially. So you hold on to the defensive guys. I think Marcus Davis probably stays if DJ Durkin stays on as head coach, and there's a couple guys on offense that would survive it. But whew, man, what a time to be an Auburn fan, Kyle. I didn't think we would be here in year 3. I really thought 8-5 worst case, 9-3. Not probable, but 9-3.
Very attainable.
Attainable, yeah, very attainable, and on the fringe playoffs, man, within reach in a 12-team playoff era. Yeah. And when you look at the results on paper, I think when I did the math, Auburn has lost these 4 games by an average of 7.5 points per game. Damn.
So close.
Damn. Anyway, let's go on.
No excuse with the talent on the roster. It's just it's a playoff roster, man.
Yeah,
I'll keep saying
it. I want people to know too. For you to be here, you Kyle Rush, things are not good.
Yeah,
because I know how much you believed in the potential of this coach.
I think the way the game's shifting, it's just what you need is just different, and it's not. You need a ball coach. You really do need a ball coach, and and you need a CEO. And I don't know that you need, recruiting's awesome and the recruiting is necessary, but as the game's shifting and the game's changing, I guess I was still lagging behind a little bit. So yeah, it sucks. He was the coach I always wanted at Auburn. I wanted him when we hired Harsin, and it just hasn't worked out.
Kyle, I want to thank you, man, for all your thoughts. Very eloquently put, my friend. I appreciate you sharing your heart with us on today's episode. We'll see what Auburn does. But again, I fear the next time you and I record, we'll be talking about an interim
coaching hot board.
Yeah, for sure. Before we get out of here, man, tell people where they can find you.
Yeah, go to thebarnauburn.com. That's our message board. Jump in the conversation. Have some fun there.
Yeah, go to the comment section and let us know what you think. Is Hugh Freeze cooked? No matter what, could a win versus Arkansas maybe be the start of the run he needs to keep his job? We want to hear from you. Also, drop your score predictions on this weekend's game versus Arkansas. They score a lot, but nobody has scored a lot on Auburn defensively, so we'll see what gives there. And while you're in the comment section, do us a favor, smash that super thanks button. Your financial support helps keep the work that we're doing here going. Please hit like and subscribe. We are the War Report on every social media platform. TW Report on TikTok. We're signing off, and as always, War Eagle.